Welcome to We Love Laugh Kiss, a monthly show dedicated to love by Rosette Designs Co, a wedding planning company in Singapore. We will discuss topics of relationship, marriage, and of course weddings. No topics are too taboo to discuss. Whether you are single, engaged, or married, you wouldn't want to miss our juicy conversation.
Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast of We Love Laugh Kiss. So we'll start off with our first episode on the topic from a bride to a planner. So to start off, just some introductions. So I'm Vivienne, the host of this podcast and also a wedding planner for Rosette Designs Co. And I have...
Hi, I'm Hellen. I'm the founder and creative director for Rosette Designs Co. So Vivienne, this is our first ever
Yes,
podcast.
correct.
Are you
Yes.
nervous?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm very, very excited.
Yes, same. I'm also a little bit
Yes,
nervous.
I'm very excited.
So yeah, usually I'll be your position. So now I'll be the one.
Now I'm the one interviewing you. Okay. So just maybe like a little background information for our listeners out there. So for today's episode, let's find out how Hellen, the founder of Rosette Designs Co, went from being a bride to starting her own company to do wedding planning.
Yes. So this podcast is also an anticipation for Rosette 10 years anniversary. So next year we are 10. Yes. And a decade is a decade of celebrating love, marriage, and relationship. One wedding at a time.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe we'll start off first. So maybe Hellen, you want to do some self-introduction of yourself to our listeners out there?
Okay, hi. Like I mentioned, I'm Hellen, the founder and creative director for Rosette Designs Co. I'm a mother of 2 young children. My firstborn, Savannah Grace, is 10 and Aiden is 8 as of this year. And we celebrated 12 years of marriage. So Rosette is kind of in line with our marriage because it's all started with our own wedding.
Nice. Yes, and she has 2 very adorable kids and a very loving husband. Okay. Yeah, so maybe some of the listeners would wonder, why is the podcast titled We Love Laugh Kiss?
Okay, so this is actually very special because back in 2009, when me and my husband started planning our wedding, we started a blog. Back then, decade ago, the trend is to start a wedding blog documenting your own wedding planning process. For the current trend is maybe Instagram account, right?
Correct.
So that blog is how we actually give back to our community, where we share all our resources, what we find, our findings about vendors, and also our tips about marriage, and also how he proposed to me and our wedding
So sweet.
journey. Yeah. So that's the blog that actually started it all. I never thought that I will start a company, but I think because of the blog, it went viral, and because of that, people start getting interest in what we do.
Nice.
So yeah,
Okay,
that's how
okay.
it started. It's come full circle now that we have the podcast.
Yeah, and it's true. Back in the days, really, blogs were really the in thing. I remember having a blog too, so I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes,
So maybe you can also share like what's your background prior to the wedding industry.
So I was in media industry before working in wedding. My background is in motion graphic designer. So I was working in MTV while I'm planning my wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great place to work and also a dream job. I remember like when I was 17 back in Jakarta, because I was born in Jakarta. Then I was watching TV. So MTV was cool back then. Yeah,
It's still cool now. It's still cool now. Trust me.
So I was thinking, wow, it must be interesting to work there.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
fast forward about maybe 7 years later, then I was working in MTV. Yeah, it was quite a dream come true.
Definitely. Okay. Then maybe I think some of the question that the listeners will have is, what sparked your interest to join wedding industry? You know, like from NTV and then you transit to wedding. That's quite a drastic change also.
Yeah. So I stumbled upon the wedding industry because I was planning my own wedding, right? And then I came across this advertisement about wedding planning course. I was thinking, maybe it's interesting to learn about the industry, then maybe see if this could be a career path. Since I'm already planning as a bride, right? Maybe see how is it
Correct.
planning other people's wedding. So I joined the course for 9 months, And then it's kind of sparked interest in me to maybe start a business. As a Indonesian Chinese, I always have a business blood. Everybody around me back then it was a business. But in Singapore, I'm not really keen on starting a media business. So I was thinking maybe wedding industry is something that I can step into. Just try.
Okay. So maybe the next question people would think, how did Rosette start and where did your inspiration come from?
So I think continuing from that question about how I got into the wedding industry is because of the wedding. I was looking for a vendor that can do wedding design, styling, but back then only wedding planner or florist. So either you hire a wedding planner to plan the whole wedding, or you hire just a florist.
Yeah.
But I want something in between. I want somebody to conceptualize and so style and design as a designer, but I couldn't find anyone. Now maybe it's quite a trend to have stylists, right? But about 12 years ago, nobody does.
Correct.
So after that, I actually started my own wedding design, and I posted in the blog. And interestingly, a lot of people interested about the service and asked me to design their own wedding.
Oh, nice.
Okay. There's also few couples that asked me to copy exactly like
your
the
wedding.
Yes, the theme and then the venue and also the outdoor feel. Because back then outdoor wedding was not really
Not as common, right?
It's not common because it's quite hot. But I was very influenced by wedding blog from the US because 10 years ago wedding Pinterest started to come in and wedding blog flourish in US. So I was very influenced by then. So yeah, that's how actually it's quite organic how Rosette started because people engage me to design their own wedding. Then I thought there's an opportunity. Then after 3 years, I jump and do full time.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So maybe people will think, okay, wedding planning, wedding styling, decor and all, but why the name Rosette Designs?
So Rosette come from this decor element that yes, I have for my own wedding. So this is rosette, pepper rosette. It just one day I saw it in the stationery shop because being a stationery lover, I love handcraft and also something whimsical. So this element is part of the wedding decor. We folded hundreds of this.
You're for yourself?
Yeah.
Oh my God, totally
I even
DIY.
mobilized all my friends. Back then we're still young. I have a lot of time. Like maybe I was the first one that got married, so everybody's still excited, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends actually help me fold this. Then we have hundreds of this. Then we hang, make it a backdrop, and also on each table. So yeah, so this is how it started, Rosette.
Nice. It's a very personalized touch also
Yeah.
because you have your friends and everyone to do it for you, right? So it's more meaningful.
And with the process of making paper rosette itself, it's like a teamwork.
Correct.
Because you cannot do it alone. Because somebody must hold it, and then somebody must help you put in, and it's come like full circle. So I thought it's quite meaningful. I got this company's name because of the course that I'm taking. I'm supposed to come up with a company name. So I thought, yeah, Rosette, why not?
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Fun fact, we also did try to make the paper rosette together. So it does require teamwork and it is very fun to do also.
Yes.
Considering that I'm not very like handsy, this is really very fun to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So understand that you've been in this industry for about like decade or so, right? What's your expectation and like your reality of like the wedding industry, like from your most honest opinion?
Okay, a lot of people come to us, right, wanting to be a wedding planner.
Yes.
Maybe they're from another industry. Then they think like, oh, I always dream to be a wedding planner since young, which is a good start. But when you come to the wedding industry, right, it's not the same as what the
Correct.
media portray a wedding planner. It's not as glam because there's a lot of back end. Yes, there's a lot of back end, and then tear down, and at midnight tear down, set up, weekend burn.
Yes.
That's something that maybe a lot of people didn't think about it because
Correct.
wedding always happens on the weekend. So I think the reality as a wedding planner, it's like any other endeavor, any other business industry. There is a hard part, hardship part, but the instant gratification is also quite high compared to maybe like a desk-bound job.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
also know,
Yes, the
right?
sense of fulfillment.
Yes,
Yes,
when
correct.
you
Correct.
finish a wedding, or
Yes,
when the
yes.
couple say thank you.
Yes, especially when you see like the couple is very happy and all, you just feel like, you know what, all the things that I've done is all worth it. Just for this special moment. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like wedding planning, it's not like any other job. The meaning behind it on us also, the vision behind a wedding planning
Yes,
is
definitely.
it's actually helping a couple starts their marriage right.
Correct.
So I think that's why we still here until 10 years.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
it is actually not the same reality. And
Yes, it's not really the same, but I would say like it won't be too far off expectation also, because you kind of still help the couple like realize their dreams and all. And then I feel like everything is still very pretty, very aesthetically and all. So I think at the end of the day, the couple happy, we're also happy lah. So
Yeah.
it's also
actually maybe you can ask you, because you have a dream of become wedding planner.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't have a dream becoming a wedding planner.
Yeah. I mean, I think since young, like my aspiration was to become a wedding planner, because I really love like wedding aesthetics and also like making people happy and being like part of someone's important moment. So I think since young, like you don't usually get to go to events to see like nice decor and all. You only see it during weddings, right? Yeah. So that was why I was particularly very excited whenever there are weddings lah. But my parents would be like, "Honey, you give ang pao," kind of thing. But I'm just like, no, I wanna go wedding, that kind, you know. So I make them like bring me along. Then I think like as I see like the couple march in and all, I just felt something different. Even though I was very young, but I can feel that, oh, you know, this is something that I would always want to keep seeing. Yeah. So then after that, I went to pursue like a events diploma. So after I consulted my secondary school teacher on like what I should pursue, since I want to do events, right? So she directed me to this diploma. Then after that, I further pursue with a uni degree, so that I'm actually equipped with like the relevant skills within the industry.
Yeah.
And then fun fact, I actually applied for internship, university internship with Rosette. But unforeseen circumstances, I didn't intern there. But 2 years later, after I graduated, right, I'm now a full-time wedding planner. So fate works differently, you know.
Yes.
correct.
So I think for wedding planner, right,
Yes.
if you are aspire to be a wedding planner, first the desire to help others
Correct.
and also love wedding is number one.
Yes, correct.
In the past, where people come in just want to try wedding industry, right? And I realized after a few months, or after even like, if they can pass a year,
Yes.
then they get burnt out.
Correct.
Because it's not easy to work in the wedding industry, right? I've been here for 10 years. I see
Correct.
people come and go, right? If you don't have a desire or even passion for wedding,
Yes,
it's very
correct.
hard to
You really need the strong passion to like celebrate love and really be there for your couples. Yeah.
Actually, the funny thing is when I was a bride, right, I'm also very conscious about the wedding, my decor and all, right. And I feel like now I'm doing it for my couple. It's almost the same. I feel the same. Yeah.
And since you have similar experience, right, you have been a bride and also a planner, do you think it's more stressful being a bride or more stressful being a planner?
Yeah. So now that I have done both, right, I think it's more stressful being a bride. Being a bride, because as a bride, right, this is once in a lifetime experience, and you probably hopefully
Yeah.
do it once only.
Yes, correct. Just once.
And you want to focus on the experience, the commitment, the process, ceremony, but you also need to let go of how the wedding's gonna turn out.
Correct.
You know, being a bride or being somebody that put thoughts into your wedding, right? You want your wedding to be perfect.
Yes.
But for me, when I being a bride, I need to let go. Because I cannot run the wedding.
Correct.
Which is why I also get a wedding planner to run my wedding. Because I don't want to be a stressful bride.
Correct.
Yeah, I seen a lot of stressful bride. They're trying to coordinate their own wedding and they miss the moment. So I think being a bride is more stressful. Whereas as you know, as a wedding planner, right, we have the bird eye view of
Correct,
all the
correct.
whole process.
Yep.
So we know that how the wedding's gonna turn out, and any hiccups, we are equipped to tackle that.
Correct. We are equipped with the skills and also like our quick thinking mindset to provide the solutions to the problems directly. Yeah, so that the bride don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think knowing the feel, having been in their shoe, I always come to the bride to show like the decor behind the scene,
Yes,
because
yes.
as a bride, right, you maybe don't get to experience the whole wedding
Correct.
process, or the maybe the decor itself, right? You don't see how it is
Correct.
until until you get a photo.
Correct.
So I always like sneak up behind to show the couple, okay, the bride especially, and this is how your decor.
Oh, that's nice. That's very thoughtful.
While they're having their makeup, so I think that's very meaningful for them. Yeah, I think
it's a very thoughtful gesture.
yeah,
Also.
that's something that I want to see when I become a bride. Yeah, I want to see how it is.
Correct. Because usually couples, once they march in, they only just march in, then they only see like the side decor. They won't really get the chance to go and experience the whole decor experience, right? Yeah. Totally understand.
I think only on the hindsight, then you look at the picture, or then you reflect back.
Yeah, or like your friends kind of tell, hey, your decor very nice. Then you're like, oh yes, but you didn't really like kind of like see how the entire thing is really like, Okay. So you've been doing this for like a decade plus, maybe like 10 to 12 years, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So are there like any like times, right, where you feel like giving up, right? And then like how do you push through those moments? Because you definitely push through, right? Because you're still here today.
Yes,
So
yes.
how do you push through?
Okay, for sure, right? I've been in this wedding industry for 10 to 12 years. But the funny thing is, because maybe I'm doing it out of passion, it doesn't feel that long. It feels like a blink. If you think about it, oh wow, already 10 years. But I don't feel the burden. Of course, there is some part that very hard, especially in running a business.
Yeah, definitely.
So because it's a service-based industry in Singapore, manpower is a challenge, and then high cost is also a challenge. Financially, running a business yourself, it's a higher risk.
Yeah.
Not like a job security.
Correct.
Yeah, so you
Like
are
stable income.
Yeah,
and
stable
all.
income, and you are responsible. Others' livelihood. Sometimes the burden could be quite big. Then I just feel like I want to give up. So there are times
It's like too much thing to shoulder.
too much. Maybe when I'm stressed, I'm like, okay, just forget it, and then just go back to full-time job.
Okay.
But what pulled me through?
Yes.
Actually, that's quite interesting because I think you asked me before. What pulled me through?
Correct.
I think it's deeper than just a job or making money. It's more on passion of relationship. So I think I'm called. That's my calling. Is relationship. Notice I didn't say wedding, right?
Yeah.
I say relationship because wedding is the first part and it's the glamour part. But more than that, it's actually the relationship and the marriage. Because I think it's also when I look back, right, I got time to think back. Oh, why am I doing this? My why, my deeper why. So I think it's stamped out from my past experience, watching my parents quarrel as a little girl.
Yeah.
So I feel like the marriage is very important, especially to your kids, how they see their life, how they see their marriage. So when I watch my parents quarrel, I feel like really maybe if I die, they will be stop quarreling. So I think that give me a calling to want to help in relationship. Yeah, so it's not just about marriage. It's not just about wedding, but it's about strengthen marriage, which is why I think we are still doing it, and we have plans, right, to continue and doing bigger things than wedding. Yeah, Rosette is having next year. We are planning more than just doing a wedding, but also helping couples strengthen their marriage.
Nice. I think that's a very nice and meaningful value also, like what you say, wedding is just the start of like your marriage journey. Yeah, so like I remember telling you also, like part of the reason why I joined Rosette is also because I feel that Rosette plays emphasis on like couples happy marriage and like the start of their journey together rather than just the wedding. So that was what attracted me to come to this company as well, because it's so sweet that y'all even celebrate like the anniversary of your past couples, like not just like 1 or 2 years. It's like every year y'all will always like send reminders and let them know that, you know, like you had your wedding on this day, like maybe like 5 years ago. We are still here with you and we hope like you have a very blissful marriage and all. So I think that's a very sweet gesture and all. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I think when I first started a company, I want to start something that's meaningful.
Correct.
I mean, I can also see if you continue to do just wedding, at one point you will get burnt out if there's no deeper meaning, right? And if you think about it, why people have a wedding, it's because they want to celebrate a start of a relationship. Right? And sometimes it's very sad. Also very sad when we send the anniversary email and some couple come back to us say that sorry, we are no longer together.
Yeah.
I think that's really really sad, which sparks us to think deeper. Actually, for me is I think deeper, or how can I help marriage, especially in Singapore and in Asia. Because
The divorce rate is very high.
divorce rate is getting higher and higher, especially during pandemic, right? You see in the news during pandemic, it's like you go through fire, right?
Correct, because
all
you're
the
like being cooped up
impurities.
together in the same area.
Yes, yeah. So maybe last time you can just detach and then go somewhere.
Correct.
One
Or like
to
you go work, then you like disperse everything at work, then you come back home, then maybe like you rest and you never talk to each other. So you don't have that kind of like commotion together, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pandemic is even challenge your notion of relationship and marriage. So that's why I think, I want to champion relationship together as a team.
I see. So we keep talking about marriage and relationships, you know, like, so what does marriage and relationship mean to you, Helen?
Okay, so I think the relationship between relationship and marriage is interlinked. Marriage for me is a covenant between two person and sealed by God, right? But beyond that, marriage has to be, you need to have a relationship of friendship built on the marriage itself, because for some people it can be just a paper, which is true if you don't have a relationship. So I think relationship is it's more meaningful than you legalize it or you make it foundation.
Correct.
The marriage is the foundation. Then relationship is something that you can continue build.
Yeah.
So I think relationship it's ever growing and also depends on the individual. So relationship made of two person, right? So if one individual do want to grow, at least one person has to grow and hopefully inspire the other person to grow together.
Correct.
So I think ever growing. The meaning of marriage, I think, is have to be continually growing together as we all grow in age and size, maybe, right?
Grow horizontally.
Horizontally. I mean, also have to go deeper and mature.
Yes, I agree with you. Like, it must be like a long-term thing, and it must be something that your couple, your partner is also like cooperatively doing it together with you. Then that's how it leads to long-lasting. Like marriages or relationships could be even like family-wise, friendship-wise, or whatsoever.
Yes, and also sometimes in the marriage, right? People think like once they get married and that's it, they don't work on the marriage.
Correct.
And then you know what? Whatever that's not growing actually dying.
Correct.
Yeah. In any plants, anything that's not growing is dying.
Correct.
So we in Rosette we also wants to emphasize on growing relationship, which is we have relationship content. So not just for wedding.
Correct,
But
correct.
continually.
The after part of weddings. Yes. Correct. Then maybe I'm just curious. So I just wanted to know, like, how did you and your husband like meet, and then like how did marriage even come along, right?
Actually very interesting because I came to Singapore when I'm 19.
Oh, okay, that's
Yes.
very young. Okay.
That's 19. Yes, that's as young as our intern. Yes. Our interns.
Shout out
online.
to our interns.
Yes, interns.
Okay.
So 19 years old. I sorry.
No.
I entered LaSalle. So I took LaSalle an animation course.
Oh,
And
okay, nice.
and then have the media job. Then I met Winston in church actually because when I first came in, I blah just joined a church and then happened to meet this bunch of young people in a cell group, and then happened to be Winston. So so he has a long time girlfriend, and I also don't feel like I want to marry Singaporeans. True.
Okay.
The funny thing is most of my Indonesian friends who say that they don't want to marry Singaporean end up marrying Singaporean.
Okay.
Yes, interesting.
Nice.
So long cut story long. Actually, Winston broke up with the girlfriend. I broke up with my previous boyfriend. Then he started to pursue me, but then I was not ready to maybe
Understand.
accept a Singaporean.
So you just ended a relationship also.
Yeah. So I thought of going back Indonesia. So I was actually praying. So it is quite personal for me. So I was praying, and then during service, I heard like in my heart say, "Stay in Singapore with the one beside you," which I'm like, oh my goodness, it's beside me.
So
There's my Indo friends beside me. I was like, oh no, am I supposed to? Yeah. So what I have wrestle in heart, right? As wrestle with God, like how? But my heart, oh God, keep telling me, do you want the best? You always want the best. So I think this is also tied in my calling and in relationship, right? That I want to marry right. So something that I believe, like if when you have a right reason to marry, it's easier for you to build the whole marriage and relationship. So I I obey the voice, the divine voice, and then I start the relationship. Turns out actually he is really the best for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, the funny thing is, you know how people say you will be attracted with someone like your father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
heard
have
of that
before?
saying. I
Yes,
heard of
yes.
that saying.
Although maybe you say you don't want to marry somebody like
Yeah,
your
but you
father.
end up marrying someone similar.
Yes, because it's familiarity.
I agree.
And after I learned about personal development, right, there is this terms of our brain is reprogrammed to drawn towards the familiar, which is why you have case where a lot of girls go into the abusive relationship, although they know that's bad for them, but they continue to go there because they had
There's some
abusive
traits of the
parents.
partners that they
Yeah.
are looking
Yeah,
at.
abusive marriage they belong to a abusive
Like
marriage.
the background that they have.
Yeah, yeah, the background that they have. So they find that familiar. So I always also end up with a guy that's alpha male, which is actually not good for me because I'm a so-called alpha female. I
Yes.
also want to take charge, right?
Helen is very girl boss.
So
Yes.
so Winston is the super soft type, like he always take a back
compliments
seat.
well with you
Yes,
lah.
exactly. So he's the supportive husband type, not the like taking charge. But turns out actually it's the best for me. Because Rosette will not be where we are without him.
Correct.
He's actually the third party because me and I have a partner before.
Yep.
Then Winston is the one that actually support us.
Oh, so
And he also be the wedding coordinator when we don't have manpower, and he's really good at it.
Yes.
So he is one of our best wedding coordinator, and the parents, all folks love him because he can engage with them
yes.
greatly.
I can vouch for that. I assisted for the weddings he coordinated. The parents and the couple love him.
Yes, and
Loves,
it's
yeah.
very interesting how actually because of that I can grow Rosette. He supported me all the way. So I think is actually part of the peace. Yeah. So if I didn't obey God, I think I will miss out that chance, and I won't be where I am right now. So I think that's the base, and that's how it started. So it's interesting.
Wow. Listening to you, I really feel like, okay, there's two lines that came into my head. The first one is fate works wonder. Okay, the fact that you both are in relationship, and then after that you had your own relationship. And the second one is I feel opposite attracts. Because remember, you say you are the more alpha one, then Mr. is the softer one.
Yes.
I think he really compliments you very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. So I also think for all the listeners out there that's looking for partner.
Correct.
Oh, yes. Keep an open mind.
Yes, correct. Keep an open mind. You never know when you will meet your Mr. Right or where, when, or how. I have friends who's single, and then every time I say, oh, maybe this person can. No, cannot. Everyone also cannot. Yeah.
Like, I think for me that time is everyone can.
Yeah.
But which one is the right one?
Correct. So you be more open minded, really get to know the person first before you have your judgment of I don't want to spend time with this person. Really talk a bit more. Then you realize maybe this person might be different. Because I understand maybe for girls sometimes we have a specific type we are looking at. As long as the guy don't fall within the radar of our type, right? We just we're not gonna talk to you, that kind of thing. But maybe just open up a bit. Who knows, you might find the one outside of your type, Then that will lead to your long lasting relationship, your marriages, etc. Because that is the person made for you.
Yes, that's very good. And this organically you cover the question of the advice, right?
Yes, because we are closing up to the end, right? So I wanted to ask Helen on her advice on wedding and marriage, since she have the experience for it, right? So maybe Helen, you want to share some your advice on the wedding and marriage?
I think just now we share
we share a
tips
bit
of finding the right person.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And now I think for marriage, right, when you come into the marriage itself, the reason to get married must be right.
Yeah.
Right. Cannot because out of pity or because of you feel like you have to.
Correct.
I heard marriages fall apart because before that they know that actually they shouldn't marry this person, but
Correct.
because it's like
I've been in this relationship for so long, let's just marry and then that's our end point kind of thing. I don't think marriage is an end point. It's a new start to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's the start must be right, because it's easier to build that way. Like it's
correct.
easier to build when you have a commitment to spend the rest of your life with this person.
Correct.
So I think that's what attract wedding to me, because it's a starting point. And then when you are in a marriage, right, compromising and also letting go of anger is very, very
Yes.
important. And I think knowing the other person's love language
Yes,
is also very key, because if you feel loved by the other party, it's easier to forgive. Yeah.
Correct.
And it's also easier to express love. So I guess that's the main advice that I would say. Yeah, knowing your
correct.
partner's love language, and actually deposit the love, like in your love bank, right?
Yes,
Bank.
correct.
Deposit when you can. So when you have to draw,
Then you think
At
like,
least
okay
you
lah,
have
he still
something.
love me lah. Yesterday he just buy me like teh O peng, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got what you mean.
so I think so make sure your love tank
correct.
is not depleted.
Correct,
I think
correct.
Divorce happens when there's no more
Correct. Then it becomes like negative, Then you keep like trying to take out, but there's nothing more to take out.
to take out.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I think like I agree also, like just now you mentioned something about like wedding is like a plant, So you pick the prettiest plant out of there, right? But you really need the time, effort to go and like grow the plant to make it even more beautiful. So I guess that is the part where marriage comes in and like building relationship comes in. Because it's not just buying a plant and then putting it there, letting it die, right? Correct. Right.
That is a
Yeah.
really
So
good
after that
analogy.
you need the flower to continue blooming and growing to maybe have like more little buds growing and all, right? Yeah. So that's where marriage and all comes in also, which relates back to your point as well. And I feel that the point that you mentioned about love language is very important also, because it makes you feel more secure about your partner, and you are also like more confident in the relationship, so you will doubt less and you will love more. Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
guess that's the end of our
Yeah, the end of
conversation.
podcast. Oh my god, time passes very fast.
Yes,
It just
yes.
feels like a very natural conversation, because on day-to-day basis, sometimes me and Helen will also talk about situations like this. So I'm just very glad that we get to share this with our listeners also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to thank you so much, Helen, for like the insightful like conversation that we had today. And I'm sure that not only me, I'm sure all the listeners out there, you guys have a lot to take away from today based on like marriage, relationship, or even like your perspective towards wedding. For those that don't want to get married, this is just something for you to think about. It's not just a normal wedding or like, yeah. So, okay, so do stay tuned as we bring you more interesting topic and exciting content about relationships, weddings, and even more.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having me, Vivienne.
No problem. Thank you so much for being on board on this podcast. Thank you so much.